Trouble out of Greenbelt. The verdict is in. Let's chat about it real quick. I'll be providing more information at a later time, but Fair Use Act disclaimer is up under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, which states allowance is made for the purposes for fair use of copyrighted material for purposes of commentary, criticism, news reporting, research, education, teaching, and or scholarship. It provides for the legal, non-licensed citation and or incorporation of copyrighted material by others which might be infringing under other circumstances. So I cannot share my screen on this particular device. I will do it later tonight, but as I entered, and welcome to those that join and those that catch the replay. This is an extremely truncated live, but it's breaking news out of Greenbelt, Maryland, where the verdict is in. The verdict, you ask? Yes, the verdict of the mortgage fraud trial of former state attorney Marilyn Mosby. Now, those of you that have watched any of my video bucket in reference to Marilyn Mosby are aware that she has been on trial for alleged mortgage fraud. Today, the jury returned a split verdict, and that information can be found in the description of this video. So, that means she was found guilty on one charge, not guilty on the other charge. Unfortunately, she was found guilty as it relates to providing false statements on a mortgage application. Now, that count, that guilty verdict, is going to result in her facing, now hear me clearly, that alone, she is facing 30, 30, 30 years in federal prison. And for the charges of perjury, which were 2 counts, she is facing 5 years in federal prison. Her defense declined to comment, and sentencing has yet to begin. So again, this is breaking news, and I really, really feel bad and thought she was going to be able to somehow get a reprieve, but the hiccup in the mortgage portion is that evidence showed, and the jury found that the evidence, the preponderance of evidence, was strong enough to lead them to believe that she indeed was not honest about the $5,000 gift, which evidence showed she wired that money to her husband, who in turn returned it to her, and it was not an actual gift as she had stated when she applied for the mortgage for the property in Florida. So again, breaking news out of Greenbelt, Maryland. Marilyn Mosby, former state attorney of Baltimore, Maryland. The jury has returned a split verdict. Count 1, not guilty. Count 2, guilty. Again, as it relates to the false statement made on the mortgage application that carries a possible sentencing of 30 years in federal prison, and as far as the perjury count, that is looking at possibly 5 years. Let me go ahead and capture these comments real quick. Hello there, Eli3 or EL3. How are you? I'll drop this real quick. If anyone has anything they would like to say or how they feel about that. I know some people may say, if you break the law, this is what happens. And I truly understand that, but 30 years to me is an awful long time. That is why when people are completing these government applications, you need to be extremely, extremely careful in doing so. And I will speak about real briefly the same thing with these PPP loans. A lot of people think that that's over with. No, it really isn't. And just because some of you may have paid them back, if you received those funds fraudulently or knowingly and willingly submitting false information to obtain those, they can come after you. And people are still being caught up in those PPP loans. So I would be extremely careful and leery when trying to obtain anything, especially when it's backed with federal funds. And again, let this be a lesson to everyone, because I honestly believe, and I'm going to stand on this, I believe she, even though we've seen what happened, was, I don't want to use the word victim, but I believe they were after her for the longest, and one false move, they were going to pounce. I also believe that someone quite close to her may have sounded the alarm. So keep your circles small and be cognizant with whom you entrust your information, especially when you're holding office and when it comes to federal, state, and local funds. Again, providing false information on a mortgage application has now resulted in a possible 30-year federal sentence. And perjury 2 counts, possible 5 years of federal prison. Breaking news live from Greenbelt, Maryland, in the Marilyn Mosby mortgage fraud trial. The jurors have come back with a split verdict. Again, the information is in the description of this video. Thank you for those that tuned in and those who may catch the replay. Please be sure to leave your comments if you have any comments or thoughts on this turn of events in this trial. Be safe, be well, be healthier, and I will see you virtually on my next video. Bye-bye for now.